Ay, 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 ay. Hi, folks. Good evening. How you all doing? Hey, Janelle Speth, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. Everybody who is here on the live, thank you so much for showing up. Hi, Helen. Hi, Delfish. Who else is there? I'm seeing a whole bunch of faces, but I'm not yet seeing the names. All right. So, earlier. Hi, Sheldon. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Anne. Hi, Donna. So I'm trying to make this evening quick, tight, to the point, because I have a couple other things that I need to go and check out. Hi, Danielle. Yes, good evening to New Source family. Danielle, whoever is that in your profile picture, I really liking the hairstyle. The hairstyle nice. Hi, Gerard. Hi, Mr. Cello. Hi, Richard Francois. Debbie Davidson, Anne Marie, Pamela, Nicole, Sharon, Doreen. Oh, good. The regular crowd here. The regular crowd here. Demeter Maria, Arthur, Brian, Kimberly, Paula, Ingrid, Nisha. So we have three topics I want to talk to you about this evening. One of them has to do with foreign exchange. One of them, and then of course I'm looking at some of the other news stories, and of course, hi Barbara, hi Anastasia, hi Deborah. So some of the news stories that crop up recently. Foreign exchange and the PNM pick for leadership that have everybody hot and sweaty. Yes, Helen, it's on Facebook and it is on YouTube. I like to bounce it off both spaces so that a lot of people, various people could get it. Hi Dawn, I hear Five Rivers in the house. Hi Kaden, how you doing? Hi Karen, hi Hassani, hi Jason, hi Danielle, hi Camille. Hi Kirk, hi Allison. Yes, Hassani, thanks for the greetings. I haven't spotted you on campus in a while, so I hope all is well. Okay, so let me jump in. Actually, normally I have to ask only this question. No, wrong thing. I will probably pay attention to Tech Guy graphics, right? So you would see that we're talking about Own Goal FC this evening. And when I talk about Own Goal FC, usually when I'm referring to Own Goal FC, I'm referring to the People's National Movement. But there are moments where I will be talking about Own Goal FC and I'd be referring to other entities, right? It could be the opposition. It could just basically be anybody who score a goal on themselves. Hi, Michael. Hi, Avian. Hi, Belladonna. But this evening, I really wanted to focus on what is going on with the PNM when I'm talking about Own Goal FC here. So we're doing a match update on them later on in the evening, but I wanted to make sure that I get a good look at the poster that Tech Guy did for me. I was very pleased with it because all I said to him was, I want a poster with Stuart on a field handling all angles of the game, and he sent this, and I had a good laugh because there is Tall Boss functioning as a coach on the sidelines, and the substitute bench with Imbert, Penny, and Amory. Here, Daniel, about build the live. Daniel, you ever see me sit down and wait to build any live, boy? I don't wait to build no live. I just get into it one time. Okay, so let's look at some of the random news. Hi, Marva James, nice to see you. Hi, Tyrell, nice to see you. Yes, it's been a while that I haven't done a live. The last time I wanted to do a live, which would have been after we talked to David West. Here, what has happened that weekend? I think I was going to talk about the budget and stuff. The volume low. Okay, let me tell me if this is making a difference. If it's louder now, is the volume louder now? I'm waiting to hear you. Hi, Jaron. Thanks for the feedback on the poster. Marvin, you just tell me the volume low. So let me know now if the volume high enough, please. Because I just made an adjustment. Right. Arthur say yes it is. Erica say it low. Ingrid say yes. Brian say yes. Janelle Speth, who said it was low before, now says it is loud and clear. It is much better. Okay, good. Right. Cool. Nice. So we getting into the thing. So random news. Top two things on this page. Lord have mercy. I'll move it on the sides. I have two things on this page I want all to pay attention to. Tobago Juve or Tobago Carnival. And here why I want all to pay attention to Tobago Carnival. Tobago, an island that is not necessarily into carnival, now has 2 carnivals for the year, right? And both carnivals are funded by the state. And I have questions about whether or not Tobago needs to have 2 carnivals. But that's just by the side. The major thing I wanted you all to pay attention to is the Paria LMCS diving tragedy. So the lawyers have filed negligence lawsuits. My concern is who really being sued for negligence. My understanding is that LMCS is all but wrapped up as a company, because I had heard that not too long after the diving tragedy took place, the company started to sell off its equipment and was looking to wrap up and pack up shop. So if LMCS is no longer functioning as a company, I don't know if it's 2 companies that are actually going to be sued, especially if LMCS eventually files for bankruptcy. Now, Paria isn't filing for bankruptcy because it is part of a government entity that functions here and, leads the energy sector. So pay attention to this story, please. I am sure there is more to come. As a matter of fact, I feel I might reach out to Anand Ram Logan and find out if he's willing to give me an interview with respect to this matter here. So we go see. The next thing that caught my eye, maybe I should move this to this side, or maybe I should shift to the next side. Right. So the next thing I looked at was this story here about Dinesh Rambali saying that he was pretty enthusiastic about Jack Warner returning to the UNC. Why? Jack Warner is easily in his 80s now, probably about 82. The last time Jack was seriously relevant to Trinidad and Tobago's politics was 2010, when he was the person behind Kamla's ascendancy to political leadership of the UNC and then eventually to becoming the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Thereafter, Jack went from Svengali, and Svengali there is a term for, somebody who's like a king or queen maker. He goes from being queen maker to a decline, so that by 2013 he is no longer in the UNC. He's left. He started his own political party, and by 2015 he's pretty much fighting Kamla openly. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we have to discuss tonight, the business of people's sexual orientation. The first time we would have heard about anybody in the country or the UNC, because by then he was ILP, talking about Kamla's and Kamla's proclivities and orientation was Jack Warner. There's a story from 2015 where Jack Warner is the first person to come out to the public and say on record, will make allegations on record about Kamla's friendships and Kamla's relationships. So when I saw that Rambali was enthusiastic about Warner returning to the UNC, and I'm thinking, Rambali is part of the faction that trying to remove Kamla, that wants a change in leadership. So is it that Jack Warner is coming back to the UNC to help to change up the leadership in the party? Another thing to look at, and I'm saying this because everybody's smelling general elections. A date has to be called. The date will be called eventually. Constitutionally, it would be due, I think, like a little after August next year, because the last time we had one was around the 14th of August, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020. So sometime after the middle of August is when it would be constitutionally due. I mean, it could call at any point in time, but constitutionally, that's when it's due. So I think that people smelling the scent of the whiff of elections and beginning to angle the body. Okay, good. Everybody's saying that they're hearing much louder, loud and clear. Good. So hi to everybody, because I'm now scrolling through and seeing a range of comments here. Debbie asked if Jack isn't about 95. Gail, no, I think Jack is about 82, right? I'm not saying that anything is wrong with Barbara, with 82, Barbara. I'm saying that at 82, does he really want to be back on the campaign trail? Does he really want to be reconstructing a political party? Further to that, and this is an important question, because I'm not trying to be ageist here at all. Doesn't the party by now need to have more people with younger, fresher, newer, different ideas coming to the forefront? Jack can be there, Jack can be around, but Jack, by this time, in my opinion, should be guiding, grooming. Well, let me not say grooming. Grooming is a very, very controversial word. He should be guiding, he should be mentoring, he should be developing the potential, whether it is in the ILP or the UNC. So when I start hearing that somebody who had his own political party from 2013 to now saying he is returning to the UNC, is it him alone returning to the UNC? Is a political party merging with the UNC? What are you really saying? What Dinesh enthusiastic about, right? So we go see how it go. Keep an eye. Keep an eye. Yes, Nicole. I have to be real careful with words like grooming, because I'm not encouraging grooming. I'm certainly not encouraging grown old men to be grooming nobody who young at all. I'm not about that life. Right. So, water for all. Well, no. Water for 85%. Where I want to put this boy? You see, because I kind of rearrange the studio a little bit. Ideally, I should be more to this side, but if I go this way, problem. So let me just go this way and put this here. Right. So the reason I wanted to point this story out is this. Water has been an area, an issue of contention in this country as a political promise for more than 30 years. The UNC campaigned in 1995 on a platform of water for all. Prior to that, the other political parties, NAR, PNM, whoever else, would be campaigning about water and improved water supply and better water supplies for rural areas and even for urban areas. So when I see these stories, this is not to say that I don't believe that WASA is doing a lot, because I know that WASA is doing a lot, and I know that there have been a number of new wells being dug, a number of new substations up and running. I know this is the second thing that has occurred in Paramin to be able to improve water supply to Paramin and Marval. So there's a big tank farm now at the top of Paramin, and now there is at the base of Paramin a new an upgraded WASA facility, their base station, and it's supposed to be providing water for the lower part of Paramin as well as Maraval. So I'm glad that, yes, thank you very much, Helen. I'm glad that there's so much pipe. I'm glad that more people get in pipe. I'm glad that is pipe for 85% of the country. But I really hope that the promise of 24/7 water for 85% of the population really happens, because these headlines just come back to bite you in an election year, and it's those things that have me concerned, right? Because 24/7 I am living, so I'm not on the same grid that the desalination plant does provide water for. Where I am, I get water for 4 days, like 4 days all day, 24 hours for the week, and then the other 3 days I'll get water for part of the day, and then by a particular time water locks off so that water can be rerouted to other communities, right? So I am happy to see the headline. I am hopeful that it happens, and I am also hopeful that one of the things that eventually happens with WASA is they begin to meter more people so that people are actually paying for the water they're using, because there are lots of households that using more water than they're paying for. So I am hoping that the distribution system gets the upgrade that is advertised there, and further to that, that things are fixed in such a way that everybody's paying what they're supposed to be paying for the water that they're using. All right. So it's just to draw some attention to what's going on with WASA. I think it's great. Kudos to Minister Gonzalez and all with on this and all of the other things that he has been doing, because I have been taking note of what is going on with WASA and the other public utilities. But I just get so concerned when you start to say water for all, because I remember how water for all eventually come and lick up Kamla and them. Tay Martin has reached, yes, and Tay announced himself in a big way. Thanks, Tay. Welcome. So that was random news. Now I want to talk about economic hit pieces. There is a big economic hit piece. There was a big economic hit piece or shit piece, however you look at it, in the papers today. Yes, Barbara, thanks for letting me know. Yes, it is from the Crystal Stream Artisan Aquifer, and it supplies up the hills. I know it supplies Covey inside. So when we aren't getting water in Four Roads, it's because the water is being sent to Covine and Rich Plain and those areas. I don't have a problem with that. So, economic shit pieces. All I remember a couple weeks ago, we was real up in we feels, rightfully, about bullying. Hi Hillary Lovelace. All I remember the whole country talking about bullying. We started talking about the culture of bullying. We started to talk about how we need to be discussing the issue of bullying. And I put up a couple posts on social media pointing out that we bully each other all the time, high and low, right? All kinds of entities and organizations, bullying is part of our culture, and we don't even recognize and understand how much we bully, because in many instances the bullying is seen as normal behavior, acceptable behavior. For instance, we would have had a commissioner of police who would be regularly on social media insulting people, attacking people. When people put up posts, sending police officer in their house to ask them questions and to take them in for questioning, flying into people's inboxes and telling them all kind of thing in their inboxes, right? Telling them they're stupid, even on comment threads, responding to people telling them they're stupid. This person was the commissioner of police. This person had at his or her disposal 6,000 to 7,000 police officers, and jumping into people's threads and into people's inboxes to say abusive, bullying things to them, right? So that is one example of bullying. There's non-stop bullying in the workplace. There are people telling you how to do things all the time. There are people using their power against you. There are people wielding power in certain ways, and we all know how bullies function. but we don't always recognize when there is bullying. So I want to show you an example of how business people, the private sector, uses its influence with media to bully the government for your resources. Right? I want all you to see. Anna Ramdas had this story in the papers today. Forex pressure for wholesalers. Now, when you see a story like that, and you're seeing a picture of Imbert, you're thinking foreign exchange, you're thinking government back squeezing on Forex, you're thinking why the government not giving these businessmen the Forex that they're supposed to get, right? And you're right to be thinking those things and asking those questions. But further to that, Anna Ramdas, not just Anna, because it's Anna and it's Indira Sajawan as well. Both of them had stories in the papers today. One in the Business Express and one in the regular part of the Express, the news part of the Express. Let me blow this up. So Anna tells this story of a business. Whoops, where it going? Of a businessman who's saying that the Exim Bank not giving them the money that they asked for, right? I was trying to find just one part of it to quote and read it out for all you. But let me give all you the backstory to this thing, the things that are missing from this story. Wholesalers are private sector businesses. Let me ask all you a question. The government could tell a grocery how much to sell goods for? It can't. And you know why? Because the grocery is private sector. So if the government was to jump in and tell the grocery, this is the prices that you have to put on your groceries, this is what you have to drop your prices to, groceries would be up in arms. The Supermarket Association would be up in arms and talking about how the government is a communist, Imbert is a fascist, Keith Rowley is a dictator, they go dead, how they go eat, how they could sell their goods at this price when, right, good. So you have the private sector telling the government to give it foreign exchange from the Exim Bank. And let me explain to you why the private sector telling the government to give it foreign exchange from the Exim Bank runs counter to what is supposed to be happening. The Exim Bank is set up as a facility to provide foreign exchange for manufacturers and for companies here that export goods. So if you have a business where you are manufacturing items and you're making items for sale and for export elsewhere, the Exim Bank is set up so that manufacturers and exporters can have ready access to Forex to be able to get the materials and resources they need to be able to make the items that they're making for sale. What you need to understand is this: those manufacturers and producers are generating their own Forex as well, right? So the usual thing is businesses like supermarkets and people who doing foreign used cars, they because they are private businesses, they're supposed to access their Forex through their banks. So whichever bank is their bank, their commercial bank, they're supposed to go to commercial banks because they are importers. They are not generating foreign exchange. They are not manufacturers. They're not making items for sale elsewhere. So, come 2020, COVID kicks in. And there are a number of items that we would have been having problems to access, because remember, with COVID kicking in, there was also the problem with shipping overseas. So budget 20, that would have been budget 2021, which would have been read in September or October of 2020. In Burton Day, the government would have put in place a new arrangement, and it was a new arrangement to allow wholesalers, especially like groceries, right? Maybe groceries and pharmacies, wholesalers to be able to access Forex from the Exim Bank for a specific period to allow them money to be able to bring in necessary items. So essential medical items, essential food items. So it was a special arrangement made around COVID time for a particular period, and the period lasted for quite some time. So it lasted beyond the pandemic, the main pandemic period. And so from 2020 to a couple months ago in 2024, these wholesalers who are importing, they're not exporting, they're not generating Forex, they are importing items, they stopped getting access to the same amount of Forex. So basically, they're supposed to go back to what pertained prior to the pandemic, which is getting Forex from their commercial banks. They aren't going to their commercial banks. So hear what these groceries, or let me say, what these wholesalers doing. These wholesalers are ordering goods without a source of funds, right? So they're trussing goods from companies in other parts of the world. So they're importing potatoes, onions, garlic from Europe, and they're trussing, right? Because they don't have a source of funds. So basically, they're ordering items and they don't know where the Forex coming from, because they didn't go to their bank. They didn't go to their commercial bank. They order the food items. They place their order, and then when they're not getting the money from the Exim Bank, and when they run to their commercial bank and they're being told, well, no, we don't have that amount to give you to place your orders, they are then having the companies that they're importing the foods from write letters to the Ministry of Finance to bully the government. That is what is taking place. So these wholesalers, so Anna writes an entire story, and she never once in the story points out that Exim Bank is not set up to give money to wholesalers. That's not the point of the Exim Bank. Exim Bank is set up to provide a facility for manufacturers and exporters. Right? So the Forex facility that they are providing is for manufacturers and for exporters. And most of the companies here that are manufacturing for export as well. So not just for the domestic market. Up comes importers. These importers are not earning Forex, because if you are buying from elsewhere to sell here, you're not earning Forex. They were given a facility to access Forex for a limited period of time. The time is up. The government is reviewing the program that would have allowed them access to Forex. What the government has found, what the government has discovered, based on my sources, is that many of these wholesalers who importing items are also importing non-essential items. So while they were given the facility during the pandemic to import essentials, along with the essentials, they are also importing non-essentials. And so they have decided that they want access to the forex. They want access to the Exim Bank, even though they know that that is not the normal way. That the normal way is go to your commercial bank, stand your banks, get your funding from them, and then you place your orders. So they have placed orders for items, have no source of funds. And when the businesses and them come in to collect their money, asking them, pay me what you owe we, they are then telling them, go by the government. None of that is in the story. None of that. And a businessman gave Anna the story. As a matter of fact, in this story, Anna is able to tell you that it's about 10 to 12 businesses that import in all of these wholesale items. And they don't want their names to be called because they don't want to get shaft, right? It's there in the story. Or you can go and read the story for yourself. It's in the Express. You will read the story and realize none of the things that I've told you here in the story. None. Anna does not explain the purpose of the Exim Bank. Anna does not explain when the facility to access the Exim Bank was granted to these wholesalers. Anna does not explain that there has been a review of access to the facility. Anna does not explain that these wholesalers supposed to be going to the commercial bank first, secure forex from the commercial bank to pay for the items they're ordering. Anna does not explain that these wholesalers now have the companies they're importing items from threatening the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. None of that is in the story. None of it. But big headline, forex pressure for wholesalers, invert picture underneath. Me and mine, you know. Me and mine. But when all you're doing them stories, do the right thing now. Give the public the balanced information now. Don't get them piece of the story. This is why I just had to come and cuss the Express on a regular. Stop giving the public only piece of the story. Stop giving the public distorted stories. This is why I just had to cuss all you. This is why I just had to call she Anna of Green Fables. Because honestly, how do you... I mean, it's a whole page. Nowhere on that page, Anna, you could have put the other side or the rest of the story. And your argument is in the story that when you reach out to Imbert, your number blocked so you can't get the information. You don't know what the Exim Bank purpose is? Your peoples who reach out to you, they didn't tell you when they started accessing funds from the Exim Bank? No? So you take piece of the story and run with it? All right. And now, now these foreign companies that providing whatever items, writing to the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Finance and pressuring they want to set up meetings to find out when they're getting back the money. So people come in to strong arm the government for their money when it is not the government that is responsible for paying for these items. So I find if the government is who responsible for paying for these items, the government's supposed to be able to turn around and tell groceries, tell all them wholesalers, you could only sell potato, onion, garlic, oil, and rice at this price. You had to drop your price. Bring it down to that. Less profit for you, more ease on the public pocket. Because if I had known all this time, wholesalers bringing in items from Exim Bank Forex, I would have been making more noise. So, that is the economic shit piece I wanted to talk about. And I know I gave Anna some heat here, but I'd give Indira some heat too. Because Indira writes about the same thing. And she's talking about unease of doing business. Indira, you know better. That's what has hurt me, You know better. You could have written a far more balanced column. You write the column and you write the column only from the perspective of the business. And then you start talking about how the dark economy has overtaken things and we're in for a rough and uneasy time. And here's what. Me even have a problem with you writing and saying that, Indira. But I have a problem with you writing an imbalanced column. I also have a problem with you not doing follow-up work to talk about all of these businesses that involved in the dark economy. Because it's private sector business. So if private sector businesses, Indira, involved in the dark economy, then it means that they engaged in criminal activity. So do tell, Indira, do tell. Tell us about these businesses that engaged in criminal activity in the dark economy. Because you see, all it is jump up and jump out all yourself and start to say things for the purpose of making the reading public anxious, right? So you see, unease, forex shortage, forex challenge, and then everybody all of a sudden started to talk about, well, we can't get no forex, we can't. When in truth and in fact, that is not necessarily the case. Everybody in Trinidad who have a Netflix account, a legitimate Netflix account, paying fate off their credit card with what? Because they ain't paying for that Netflix account in TT dollars. If you have a Microsoft subscription, I nearly say prescription. If you have a Microsoft subscription, a Netflix subscription, a Disney subscription, a Hulu subscription, as a matter of fact, if you are subscribed to any service that is not provided by a local company, you are paying for that service in US dollars. So when you set up these subscriptions, and you know how these subscriptions go, the money comes off your credit card unless you cancel your subscription. Where do you think the US coming from? Unless you generating US from your business somewhere and putting it on and going to your bank, depositing it into your bank and telling them put it on the US side of your credit card, that US is coming from the commercial banks who are getting it from the central bank. You all understand that? Well, you understand that every single time or you purchase something online or via some subscription, or you purchase online tickets from some ticket place that overseas, that you are basically paying in forex that you haven't earned, right? So you have us using forex that we haven't earned, and me ain't kicking a fuss about it. I ain't dogging nobody, I ain't pressuring nobody. But sometimes there ought to be a kind of presence of mind. If you aren't earning forex and you're spending forex in little ways or big ways, you have to start asking yourself, well, where's this forex that I'm spending coming from? Me ain't telling you, don't spend the forex, I just saying, be more mindful. And when Indira and Anna start ponging the government about a forex facility that is meant to be for people who are manufacturing items for export, you have to pause and say to yourself, all you okay? Because all you busy lashing the government, bullying the government, because all you join the foreign companies and them as well, right? Indira and Anna, the 12 businessmen who want to remain nameless, and the people they owing the money overseas, bullying the government for foreign exchange that these 12 businessmen aren't actually entitled to. So they see themselves as entitled to it because of the arrangement, because of the COVID arrangement. But the COVID arrangement was always ever going to come to an end. It was always ever going to be reviewed and streamlined. So what do? They come, they threaten the government for money, One. And they also threatened to hold the public to ransom. I want all you to go and read the Anna Ramdas story. Because the businessman, right, the wholesaler in that story, go and look for it. Because it on Express page today, right? The link for it on Express page. In that story, the businessman tells Anna that the public have to expect increased prices on a number of essential food items, So saltfish, oil, rice, potatoes, onion, garlic, it listed in the story. So if you read in that story and you are not in a position like me where you understand what's missing from the story and how they're fooling people, you will start thinking to yourself, "Way boy, this government real wicked. Look how hard things going to be for we. Why didn't give them the Forex?" It is not Forex they're entitled to. And they are threatening to raise prices to see how they could force the government to give them the foreign exchange that they are not entitled to. That's what's going on there. So they make sure they get a headline. They make sure they get a headline. They Forex pressure. And in throughout the story, they keep telling you. Anna keeps telling you where the businessman is saying things could be hard. Food prices will go up. And between now and the end of the year, so you have Diwali coming up. You know how much food had to cook for Diwali. You know how much potato and chana had to cook for Diwali. You know how much oil had to get used, how much flour had to get used, how much onion and garlic had to get used to bunge a pot. So them done bracing people. When you reach in the grocery for for Diwali and Christmas, expect high prices. Now mind you, when they was getting access to Forex from the Exim Bank during the pandemic, we experienced no decline in prices. Food prices went up the minute the pandemic kicked in, and we have not experienced a decline in food prices yet. And they were accessing a Forex facility that they were not entitled to. See the shit that is getting me annoyed in this place? That's why I just buy from Namdepco, because I enable businesses in this place too dishonest. So I wanted all you to be aware of these economic hit pieces. Whew. Right, now we reached the part of the back and all that. Part of the story that I know plenty people logged in for. And they're quiet. They're just lurking on the live. They ain't saying nothing. They ain't saying nothing. They just sit down on the live. So, happy 75th to Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, because he had his 75th birthday just now, recently, right? Where I want to start, boy. I know where I want to start. The first thing I want to say is this. General election 2025 is the PNM's to lose. I just meet people all the time who worried, right? Panicked. And they ain't panicked now. It's been years now. Oh God, waiting on with the elections. And I don't get panicked about elections. And up until recently, what I've been saying to anybody who asks me about general elections, I've said the general elections of 2025 is the PNM's to lose. As in, they are in a solid enough position that if the election bell is called now, with the current political leader of the PNM and the current political leader of the UNC, the PNM is more likely than not to win the general election. Well, here, wait is I tell earlier, right? If the election bell is called now, if they announce a date now, if Dr. Rowley is leading the PNM and Kamla Persad-Bissessar leading the UNC, the PNM is more likely than the UNC to win that election. That being said, I know that Dr. Rowley at 75 wants to go. As a matter of fact, when he ran in 2015, some of the comments that he had made was that he was not looking for 2 terms. Then in 2020, I think because he felt, I mean, he also said this on platforms, that there wasn't enough transition planning that had taken place. So with there not being enough transition planning, he ran as political leader in 2020. Now, in my opinion, I think the last internals was 2022. Am I wrong? I know it have people on the thread who will be able to tell me if it's 2022 or 2023, but I'm thinking the internals was in 2022. Them last internals that took place in 2022 was when the transition planning should have started to kick in. So when I saw that Dr. Rowley ran again as political leader on the same slate as Foster Cummings and a bunch of other persons, I said, well, okay, maybe he has decided that he wants to run for a 3rd consecutive term. Then at the start of the year, I was hearing that there was going to be a special convention sometime in this year. The special convention was supposed to happen earlier, right? A couple months ago. And so when I heard that, I was like, special convention. So it means that they're looking to have an internal and allow one man, one vote, as is the party's constitution, to do what the party needs to do. Let me tell you something. As much as I support many of the policies of the People's National Movement as a government, for me, sticking to your promises, sticking to your policies, sticking to your rules and guidelines, keeping your word is very important. And I feel that the People's National Movement has a constitution, has rules, has guidelines, and that is what needs to hold sway. Now, I don't want anybody to feel that I have anything against Stuart Young, because I don't. I quite like Stuart. I've interacted with him on occasion. I find he have a lovely sense of humor. I find he has a great work ethic. And I feel if Stuart thinks that he has what it takes to be the political leader of a party, then honor the membership of the party, the rules of the party, the constitution of the party, and face an internals. You faced an internals in 2022 when you became the chairman. So I don't see that you can't face the internals again and let people come out, one man, one vote, and cast their ballot. Because I don't know if you'll remember, back in 2010, one of the things Dr. Rowley challenged Manning on is the PNM delegate system, because he felt that the delegate system was the sort of system that could be gerrymandered, and so the majority of the party didn't necessarily have its voice be heard. And that challenging and eventual overturning of the delegate system, because I even remember when they had this special convention in St. Augustine to discuss changing from delegate system to one man, one vote, because I live not too far from where the meeting was held at that point in time. So I'd walked over to the meeting and listened to what I could have listened to. So you switch things up. You've gone from delegate system to one man, one vote. How do you then come in 2024 when your next internals is actually due in 2026 and make as if you are looking to anoint or select a political leader of the party? And I think this is the point that a lot of people aren't making, because Karen Nunes, Teixeira and them talk a whole set of ass about how Stuart is too Chinese. That's not it. I don't think that anybody who is my complexion has an issue with Stuart Young being Chinese or of Chinese descent, because he's not fully Chinese. His mom is of East Indian descent. His father is of Chinese descent. So Stuart, as I see him, is mixed race. I don't think that's the issue at all. I think that, again, we are looking at the PNM's base membership. And when I'm talking about base membership, I'm not just talking about black people, because everybody like to think that when you talk about the PNM base, you're talking about black people. I am talking about the people that support the party, that have been supporting the party for the last 80 something years, because I am one Barbara feel I leaving she out of the conversation, right? So Barbara supporting the PNM even before it was a PNM. I don't want any of those persons who have been supporting the party for that long, who feel they want to have a say in the leadership selection of the party. I don't feel they should be left out. And when statements start being made about this is who I choose or this is how I'm selecting, it undermines the democracy of the party. And when you start to ignore the own policies of your party, it then raises questions about whether you are ignoring the processes of government. Because when Kamala plays the fool with the UNC's internal elections, I does bash she hard, and I will be the first person to say, if you cannot trust Kamala with her party's internals, if you cannot trust Kamala to adhere to the rules of her party's constitution, how we could trust Kamala with the national constitution, right? I have asked those questions on numerous occasions. So when you start having a situation where, as political leader, you're not going the usual route, the route that you would have gone from the time one man, one vote was put in place to now. Because I have voted in, 3 internals? Because that was when I felt, well, okay, all right, yes, I could get involved with this party. So I'm not understanding. If you are in a situation where you have a system in place, if he is the best pick for the position, can't he campaign on a platform with a slate, if you want to campaign with a slate, and get the votes that he needs, which shows that he has the support of the membership of the party to lead the party? Because this is what we're looking at right now. Having the trust, confidence, and support of the party's membership to lead the party. It can't be a situation where you haven't earned that support from the party. And let me tell you something. PNM membership is the kind of membership will sit down, watch somebody try to force something on them, and hit them one piece of referendum in detail, you know. They will watch it and they will decide, I want this. Now, I'm not lobbying for any one person. I don't have a horse in the race. I think that there are a range of persons. There's Amory Brown, there's Dr. Amory Brown, there's Penny Beckles, there's Colm Imbert, there's Stuart Young, there's Faris Al-Rawi, there's Foster Cummings, there's Nian Gadsby Dolly. There are a range of persons. And what I would like to see is a situation where the range of persons who think they want to throw their hat in the ring as political leader of the party run a campaign. Run a campaign. Either as an individual or as a slate. Or run a campaign. So I am on the side of the PNM have a constitution. The constitution says how we just vote for political leader is through one man, one vote, not anointing, because we don't have a monarchy, right? The PNM is a democracy. It's not a monarchy. So it's not inheritance. You don't inherit a position. Nobody just come and rest a crown on your head. That's not how it is work at all. And the minute you decide that you want to force that kind of position, I don't feel it is going to sit well. So either you have your special convention, and I feel the time for a special convention has passed. If a general election is due in 2025, we should have had a special convention and selected a new political leader of the PNM all now. Right? Red mobilization. Let me add a comment from Red mobilization to the screen for you to see. Oops, no. Not this, not. The screen moved. Right. Red mobilization, jump on the live, I guess to run damage control. Dear Red mobilization, I don't think me or anybody else on the live dotish and can't pick sense from nonsense and can't read between the lines. We know that Dr. Rowley has not come out and selected any one person. But we do know that Dr. Rowley has often said that Minister Young is his Gary Sobers. He is somebody that he relies upon heavily. We also know that there are a number of stories in the public domain about the possibilities of leadership and who in the running and who not in the running. And if you think that I am the sort of person who not aware of what is being discussed behind closed doors or within the realm of the party, then something wrong. You're really and truly watching Big Me, all hardback battle axe me, and telling me that I'm misjudging the situation. Come on, man. Again, I'm not lobbying for anybody. I am saying that the party have options. It is not like the PNM does not have options. The PNM not in the position that the UNC is in. There are a number of persons who could easily throw their hat in the ring and say, I am interested in becoming the political leader. And you know what? I like that the People's National Movement has options. And I like that if we were to have an internal elections, we would be in a position to see a range of persons put themselves forward as political leader, for the position of political leader. And I feel that is what we should allow to happen. We're not running a parlor. We're not running a nepotistic or a cronyistic organization. And if the political party can do that and stick to that and abide by that, I think it will only benefit not just the party but the nation, the country as a whole. And that is my 2 cents when it comes to this particular issue. I don't think that Stuart isn't eligible to throw his hat in the ring as political leader. I think it should be a situation where Minister Young, or MP Young rather, throws his hat in the ring and faces the PNM electorate, the PNM membership, and lets them know in a campaign, this is why you should select me as leader. I think that should take place with any of the other persons who are interested. For all we know, Minister Young, not even remotely interested. What I do know is that there's a lot of rumblings, and the rumblings show that there are a number of persons who are less than thrilled about what is taking place. Whether it is confirmed in the public domain or not, they're less than thrilled about what is taking place. And that doesn't benefit the country, that degree of uncertainty. And this is apart from PNM internal elections now. By now, for a country who is less than a year away from a constitutionally due election, I find once you're under a year away from an election date, you're supposed to know who the leadership of the various parties are going to be. I don't feel it should be a situation ever at any point in time that people wondering who likely to be the political leader and what going to take place. And that's my take. I think it shows stability, it shows maturity, it shows growth as a political organization and as a country, that you know this is who we're going into the next election campaign with. And that's me. Me and nothing else to say. As a matter of fact, I just gonna play some soca music and move on with my life. Right? That's what I'm gonna do now. So, all enjoy the rest of the evening. Too young.